Happy Tuesday. We'll be doing a more challenging class today, and we'll be starting on our backs. And you can have your legs straight or bend your knees. If the knees are bent, you can rest them together or out to the side. Basically, you can start in any way that's comfortable for you. The arms can be out to the side, they can be overhead. You can rest your hands on your body just to kind of guide the breath. See what works for you. And if you're comfortable doing so, I invite you to close your eyes. And if that's not comfortable, then just lower and steady your gaze. Sometimes just fixing your gaze on one spot can be very relaxing for the mind and body. It's not like an intense stare, it's just a gentle resting. Closing the eyes and taking out that visual stimulation is also not only restful, but really helps us turn our attention inward to what's happening in the sense realm rather than the visual realm. And then we can all just start to see what the body is feeling in the moment. Maybe feeling the places where the body touches the ground, feeling the sensation at that connection point. Maybe using the feel of the support of the ground below you to encourage the body to release and surrender into that support. Letting go, relaxed. And you might consciously try to relax the places that typically hold tension. So you probably know where those places are in your body. Some of the usual places are the forehead and the brow, the jaw, the shoulders, belly, buttocks, hands. It's different for all of us, though. Maybe a quick scan through the body and just seeing if you can recognize any places that are holding and letting go. And then in the softening of the body, we can feel how the breath is able to expand, noticing it in the belly, deliberately bringing it up to the ribs and solar plexus, and then all the way up to the chest. Breathing in, belly, ribs, chest, and breathing out, chest, ribs, belly. Feeling the spaciousness of the in-breath and the letting go of the out-breath. Really, all we need to do in our yoga postures is create space and let go. So the breath is doing most of that work for us. Then, if the hands are resting on the body by chance, release them onto the ground. And then, if the legs are straight, bend the knees. And we'll lift the feet up into the air. And just notice, bring the feet back down for a minute and bring your attention to your lower back, the flat sacrum part of your back. And just see if the lower back is pressing flat into the ground or not, or if there's a little bit of an arch, or maybe just it's touching, but it's not really pressing. That's fine. Just notice that. And then see if it feels different as you lift the feet, which will curl the tailbone up a little bit and perhaps allow the lower back to rest a little more solidly on the ground. So that solid connection with the ground at the sacrum, we want to maintain, and we'll do it by pulling our bellies down toward the floor as we lower one foot at a time. Now, as you lower your feet, you're not lowering by bending your knee, you're lowering from the hip socket. And that's going to want to take that tailbone from curling up to curling back down and take the lower back off the floor somewhat. So you're going to press the belly down into the back to keep the back pressed into the floor, even as we lower. You can coordinate the movement with your breath. So you can see it might feel easier to inhale as you lower. That inhale, of course, creating space and then facilitating the pressing down of the back. But for you, it might seem more organic to go the other way and exhale as you lower. The exhale naturally pulls the belly in toward the spine, which might also facilitate pressing that low back down. So either one is fine. See what works for you. One more on each side. And then hug the knees into the chest, letting the belly relax. And feeling how the breath might extend all the way to your tailbone. Of course, we don't have lungs in the tailbone, but you can just imagine breathing fully and the belly not really expanding all that much with the thighs coming in, and maybe it feels like the breath can come down into the hips and sacrum. And then bring the feet onto the ground, keeping the knees bent. Bring the hands to hover above the chest with the palms facing up. We're going to inhale here at the bottom and then exhale and lift up, turn, and place the back hand on the ground. Inhale, center and down. Exhale, up and turn the other way, back hand on the ground. Inhale, center and down. And then try to do the turning as you're coming up. And just continue going side to side at your own pace. Keep going. One more on each side. And then stay up. Either extend the arms forward, place them on your chest a little harder, overhead a little harder, and then we'll lower slowly to the ground with control. Continue to breathe. And then take the arms out to the side. Bend the knees and take the knees out to the side. And then try to spread the breath wide into the body, long into the body. Fill the body. You can see how the belly expands and those muscles we just used. Breathe and relax. And then lift the knees. Bring the hands to the knees. Cross the feet at the ankles. And we'll tuck the chin and rock lengthwise on the spine, kicking the feet for some momentum, and then try to rock all the way over your feet onto hands and knees in one movement. Great. So we're going to move the spine, and because it's Tuesday, I'm going to offer the downward dog, upward dog version, adding in the yoga push-up chaturanga if you want. And if you're not in a Tuesday kind of mood and you feel like moving your spine in a more gentle way, you just do cat and cow, rounding the back on the exhale, arching on the inhale. If you're joining me, your hands will go in front of the shoulders and the fingers spread wide. We curl the toes. We take a breath in and then we exhale. We lift the knees, push forward through the hands, back through the hips, down through the heels, downward dog. And then on the inhale, we drop the hips, we flip over to the tops of the feet, we leave the thighs off the ground, roll the shoulders back, stick the chest out, roll the eyes up, breathing into your upward dog, curling the toes to exhale into the downward dog, and going back and forth like that. Or, as I mentioned, you can add an extra step, inhaling into plank, exhaling, bending the elbows close into the sides, hovering over the ground. Inhaling, pushing into the hands, rolling over the tops of the feet, upward dog. Exhale, curling the toes and coming back into downward dog. And then the next time you come into downward dog, stay there. If you're not doing that version, please join us in downward facing dog. And then we'll bend the elbows out to the side and just see how that resonates in the upper back and shoulder blades. And then keep your attention in the upper back and shoulder blades and see how it feels to roll your elbows down toward the floor. And then straighten the elbows. And then you might notice that the index finger and thumb become a little depressed off the ground when you do that. And so repress them in. And you can see if pressing into the index finger and thumb gives you a little more length as the hips come back. So today we're going to hold the downward dog for an inordinate amount of time. We're really going to challenge ourselves here. So stay in the downward dog for as long as you can, even when you feel like your arms are shaking, even when you feel like you're going to cry. If you stay in it any longer, and trust me, if you stay in it long enough, you will feel like you want to cry. Stay in it. And then when you absolutely cannot stay anymore, come down. And then if we're still in it, come back up when you're ready. Really be in the posture. So the nice thing about being here for so long is you can feel all the little micro movements that make the posture feel a little more spacious, a little more easeful, a little more effective. So you can play with pressing the thighs back, you can pull the shoulders down, you can sink the chest, you can drop the head, you can keep repressing with all 10 fingers. You can also just really focus on your breathing. Sometimes that's the best way to tolerate the challenges that we're experiencing, is to let those recede into the background with the breath in the foreground. Also, focusing on the breath will help you maintain that slow, deep, rhythmic breathing, which will relax your nervous system and make this feel less challenging. Just 15 more seconds. And release down. Good job. Come into child's pose, folding the arms alongside the body. Unless your forehead doesn't reach the ground in child's pose, in which case you'll support your forehead with either stacked hands or fists. And I should mention, I never do, that the goal is not to have the forehead touch the ground. So I see a lot of people have their butt in the air so that their forehead can touch the ground. First and foremost, you want to have your butt as far back to your heels as possible. You can even maybe wrap your hands around the outsides of your feet and pull your hands toward your feet to help bring the hips back. And then wherever the head lands, it lands. And if it's not on the ground, okay, just rest it on your hands. If your arms are alongside of you, let the shoulders spill over your thighs and really see how much you can relax the upper body onto the lower body. And then see how it feels to breathe deeply here in child's pose, knowing that the belly, ribs, and chest are somewhat limited, and so the breath will show up differently. Okay, extend the arms overhead. We'll lift back up into downward dog, but just momentarily. So if the arms are tired, don't worry about it. Just come up for a moment. And then as you inhale, lift the left leg and look forward. And then exhale and step the foot up between the hands. Bring the left hand onto the left thigh. Lift the right arm and the body up. Send the right arm up in the air. And then bend over to the left. Reaching over with that right arm. Push back into your right heel. It's off the ground, but you're really pressing back. And as you press back and you feel the right thigh pressing back, opening the front of that right hip, at the same time, send your hips forward. So it feels like the hip is pressing forward while the foot is pressing back, and you're creating that tug of war that's giving you the stretch. Okay. And then bring that right hand down onto the ground and send the left arm up, turning your belly and sinking that right hip down even more. Maybe the foot even pivots a little. Rolling the heart up, rolling the gaze up. Full breath in, relax with the breath out. Good. Bring that left hand down to the inside. And then just roll that left knee open. Sinking down through that right hip, but keeping the right knee bent. Dropping that left knee down as much as it'll go. Feeling the breath. Keep pressing back into the right heel. Beautiful. Now make sure your right fingers are splayed nice and wide. And then we're going to take the weight into that right hand. Send the left foot back. If it can rest on top of the right foot and balance there, go ahead and do that. If it needs to come onto the floor, that's fine. We're going to send the left arm up, coming into a side plank. Now, if you want to challenge your balance and create a little bit more stability through your core strength, close your eyes. And really breathe deeply here. And then bring the left foot onto the ground in front of the right foot. Lower the left hand, coming into plank. Pull the belly up to support the back. You can modify plank by being on your knees, but if you're on your knees, you're still in a plank, meaning a straight line from the knees to the crown of the head. And then we'll roll over to the tops of the feet, coming into upward dog, this time holding our upward dog. Really fold the shoulder blades back in toward the spine. If you need to be on cobra, the knees are down and the pubic bone is down. We'll send the gaze up. Feel the breath rolling through the body. And then curl the toes and come into downward dog. At this point, this might even feel like a resting posture, but also really stretch that lower back, pushing forward through the fingers, sending back the hips. Take a few deep breaths, keep the shoulders down the back. And then on your next inhale, lift the right leg and look forward. Exhale, step the foot up between the hands. Back heel stays off the ground. Right hand comes onto the right thigh. Left hand comes up. The body lifts, but keep the hips nice and low. Reach the left arm up. Inhale. And exhale, reach over to the right. Press back through the left heel and forward through the left buttock. And the left hand comes down to the ground. Let the hips drop as low as they'll go. Rotate the belly to the right, lift the right arm, take your gaze up, and then drop that left hip. Where do you feel the breath? Can you still get that same easeful sense of expanding on the inhale and relaxing on the exhale? The right hand comes down to the inside of the right foot, and we come onto the outer edge of that right foot and let the knee open out to the side. Let the hips sink down. Keep pressing back through the left heel and releasing down through the right knee. Expanding outward with your inhale, relaxing downward with your out breath. Okay, now we're going to spread the fingers of that left hand nice and wide for stability. Step the right foot back as we turn the body to face right. If you can stack the right foot on the left, do so. If not, it can come to the ground. Then we'll send that right arm up. And again, challenge yourself if you want by closing the eyes. Long, slow, smooth, deep breath. And bring the right foot to the floor, the right hand to the floor, coming back into plank. Feel the arm bones sinking into the ground, the belly lifting up, the heels pressing back, the breath floating you above the ground. We'll come back into our upward dog, flipping over to the tops of the feet. So the shoulders like to come forward, but we're going to counter that by intentionally rolling them back. So you're bringing your back ribs forward. You're sending your chest forward. Your eyes are up. Press into your hands and see if you can lift a little higher off the ground. And then bring the knees down and send the hips back, keeping the arms overhead. Pressing forward through the hands, getting a nice long stretch through the back. Breathe into the stretch. So you don't really have to intend to breathe into the stretch. If you intend to breathe deeply and you're in this shape, you'll breathe into the stretch. But certainly adding your intentionality only helps. Whatever you put your mind to kind of directs the energy there. Walk the hands over to the right. Send the right hand to the floor beside you. Press into the floor to send your left hip back. And then reach out long through the left hand, feeling that length from the left hip to the left hand. Breathing. And take it over to the other side. Pressing the left hand into the ground beside you to send your right hip back. Then walking the fingers of the right hand out away from that hip. Stretching long and then using the breath to stretch even longer. Making space on the inhale and relaxing on the exhale. And again, you don't have to intend to make space on the inhale and relax on the exhale. As long as you're not getting in your way, that will happen naturally. But it doesn't hurt to intend it either. Not with too much agenda, because that's one of the things that will get in the way, but just to orient the mind toward that. to know that that's possible and to welcome it. And then bring that right hand back around to the right. Bring your head center and lift your head up. Lift your hips up off your feet. Curl your toes under and lift your knees. Beautiful. Drop your head. Then slowly lift your buttocks up, straightening your legs, staying folded forward over your legs. Press down into the feet. Lift through the hip creases. And then as you exhale, scoop the lower belly in and up. And then with your chin to your chest, soften your knees, roll yourself up, and reach the arms up. Inhale, bring the arms forward, up, back, and down. Two more like that. Backs of the hands face as the arms come forward, sweeping back. And then just let the arms rest down. Feel the shoulders relaxing down. Maybe close the eyes or lower them. Lift the toes and spread them wide and lower them. Feeling the base of your posture through your feet, up into your legs. And feeling the legs releasing down into the feet. And the feet releasing down into the ground. Almost like you're a plant or a tree, and everything below the waist are the roots going downward, or the trunk sinking into the earth. And everything above are the branches and the leaves, the flowers, whatever plant you want to be, lifting up toward the sun. Feeling those two directions. And feeling how the inhale makes space and lengthens you upward, and the exhale releases you downward. The bones are heavy, the muscles are soft, the flesh is soft. And then let your weight shift into your left foot. So you can feel how the whole body hovers over that foot, and really feel the weight on the foot. Is there more weight on the inner edge or outer edge, the front or the back? And try to distribute the weight evenly across the bottom of the foot so that it forms a really solid foundation. And feel your breath as a foundation for your mindful attention. When we can keep the breath focused, it helps us keep the body in balance. Still mind equals still body. And so, kind of ironically, we use the movement of the breath or our attention on it to still the mind. And see if you can keep that inner focus on the breathing as you gently open the eyes. Your lids are only half open, your gaze is soft, and you're finding one spot to rest your gaze on, your drishti. Still feeling the breath. I'm going to lift the right leg. And if you can grab hold of the big toe and still straighten the leg out to the side, do that. If not, hold on to the leg wherever you can. More interested in having the leg straight than in holding the big toe. And then we'll take that left arm out to the side. Finding the gaze point that helps you stay balanced. Staying with your breath. So if you find yourself falling to the right, you probably need to gaze a little bit more to the left, vice versa. Expanding as you inhale, relaxing as you exhale. Leg is out to the side. And release down. Close the eyes. Lift and spread the toes and lower them down. And take a deep breath in through the nose. Let it out of the mouth. Letting go of whatever tension might have built up. Trying to balance. And then coming into a nice, full, even breath in and out of the nose. Feeling the breath. Shifting weight into the right foot. Really feeling the weight in the foot. The whole foot. Feeling the breath as we open the eyes. Staying in the breath. Lifting that left leg and then either holding it where you can on the leg, or if you can take the big toe and extend the leg out, do that, and the right arm will reach out to the right. Expand and relax. And release down. Relax the arms. Inhale, pull the shoulders up to the ears. Inhale, pull them up a little more. Inhale a little more. And exhale, release them down out of the mouth. Drop the chin to the chest. Bend the knees. And roll yourself down all the way, bringing the buttocks to the ground. Now I'm going to offer a shoulder stand, and I'll give the option of a half shoulder stand. And if your neck or your menstrual cycle or pregnancy or anything suggests that the shoulder stand is not for you today, then you can just bring your hands under your back and have your legs straight up. If you're joining me in shoulder stand, we'll bring the hands around the knees and we'll rock lengthwise on the spine, getting enough momentum to bring the hands to the hips, and then walking the hands down the body, rolling the shoulders under you. And shoulder stand is like one of the 8 super poses in yoga. It's really, really a beneficial pose. It regulates the hormones and the thyroid and so many things. It also is great for the circulation. You get a lot of that benefit by having the legs up in the air, but also having the heart higher than the head, which you don't get by just having the legs up in the air, is very beneficial. So if you're physically able to do shoulder stand, I do suggest that you try it. And of course, if you're not, that's fine. I really do applaud listening to the body. And then when you're in shoulder stand, don't ever turn your head. And then reach up through the toes, whichever posture you're in. And half shoulder stand, your hips are bent. And rather than trying to have a straight line from your shoulders to your feet are kind of hovering over your forehead. It's a little bit easier and still affords a lot of the same benefits. And then we'll circle the feet around at the ankles. Circle the other way. And then bend the knees and bring the knees toward the forehead. And if your spine is off the ground, slowly lay it back down, keeping the knees in. And then just roll your head from side to side. And feeling how that point of contact between your head and the ground moves across the back of your skull. Feeling your breath as though it's fueling the movement. And then return the feet to the ground. Lift your hips and tuck your tailbone under. Release your legs and shake them out. If you're using an eye pillow, you can place that on your eyes now. And then we'll all let the arms rest out away from the body with the palms up. Closing the eyes if you can, or at least gazing down. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Release the weight of the body into the earth. Inhale through the nose. And out through the mouth, letting go of the jaw, letting the lips slightly part. Inhale deep. And exhale out of the mouth, letting go of the activity of the mind. Turning the mind toward the feeling of the breath. Once again, using that movement to create stillness in the mind. And then to create even more ease, let go of the breath. Don't try to breathe. Just take whatever breath is given. It's enough. And however faint or fast or slow or long your breath may be, rest your attention there. The mind is like an untrained puppy. It likes to go run around to other places, and you're training it. So whenever you notice that it's gone off, whether it's a minute, 2 minutes, 10 seconds, just bring it back. Stay, stay, and it'll wander again, and you just bring it back. Stay, feeling the breath, deeply relaxed, letting go, letting go, letting. Breathe into your heart. Move the fingers and toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath. Stretch long. Hug the knees to the chest, rocking side to side. Feel the ground massaging your back. Come center, rub hand to hand and foot to foot, waking up the energy in your body. And roll onto your side. Rest your head on your underside arm in the seedling's pose. And just feeling what's here. Feeling sensations, emotions, energy, breath, thought, peace. whatever is here. And then pressing into your free hand, come up sideways, back to sitting, any way that you're comfortable. Sinking down into the sit bones, lifting tall through the crown of the head. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale the hands together at the heart. Inhale the heart up to the hands. Exhale, shoulders relax down. Inhale deeply, breathing in from bottom to top. Take it all in. Let it all go. Drop the chin to the chest. Namaste. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for your practice. Have a great day.